Ooh. Sorry guys, gotta carry around a 5 kg laptop, man. This thing is not light at all. But there's actually a very good reason for that, because this is the Acer Predator Helios 700, and this is Acer's answer to replacing your desktop computer. Now of course, this laptop is decked out and it has a pretty cool party trick. Now sure, you can get yourself a mini computer, but you're going to be sacrificing performance because you need smaller parts. And not to mention, you have to carry on a lot of cables, including a monitor, a keyboard and a mouse. And that is what the Helios 700 is here to solve. Now, no doubt the Helios 700 is a full-blown gaming laptop. I mean, it has an aggressive design, accented lines, but it's very subtle, and that's something I really like. Not to mention, the back of the keyboard looks like the rear of a Lamborghini or a McLaren. Now, this laptop has ample amount of ports. It has 3 USB ports, 2 Type-C ports, an Ethernet port, a headphone jack, a HDMI port, and a display port. And what I really like about the display ports is that they're positioned at the back of the laptop. And most of you know, those wires are pretty thick. So it's nice that Acer has figured out a way to hide those wires. Now, the keyboard is a very solid keyboard, and it has a pretty cool thing called the MagForce keys. So that's where you swap out the WASD keys for these MagForce keys. And what that does is that it emulates a controller analog stick. So for example, if you push down slightly on those keys, your characters are going to walk. Pushing down all the way, and the character is going to run. Now it sounds like a pretty cool technology, but sadly it's not been implemented pretty well, because what the laptop does is tells the game that an Xbox controller is connected to it, and games don't really like when you do that. So for example, when I'm playing Witcher and I press the W and D key at the same time, Geralt is just gonna keep walking on endlessly. Now the same issue persists in Control, where I press down slightly on the W key, the character kinda glitches forward, and every time I move the mouse, it just swaps between Xbox controls and mouse and keyboard. And above that is a 17-inch 144Hz display that supports G-Syncs, and that adds for a really nice immersion when you're playing games. On the other hand, the trackpad is very precise, and look, it has physical buttons. Alright, performance time. Now, as I mentioned before, Acer is not messing around with the performance of this laptop because it comes with a 9th generation Core i9 processor, an NVIDIA RTX 2080, and 32GB of RAM. Now, that's way overkill for a laptop. And remember when I mentioned to you there's a party trick in this laptop? Well, it comes in the form of its HyperDrift keyboard, where the keyboard and the touchpad area can be slid down. And basically what that does is it exposes 2 more fans that will suck in air directly into its chassis. At the same time, it also overclocks this laptop, and it adds an armrest. However, there is a setback, and as you can hear for yourself, it gets really loud. But you still can turn down the fans even though the keyboard and the touchpad area is slid down. Alright, it's game time. So with specs like this, you expect games to run well, excellent, and excellent it does, because games like Witcher 3, Overwatch and Monster Hunter World run well above 100 frames per second. And games that support ray tracing like Control and Metro Exodus run pretty decent as well. Now sure, you can overclock the laptop and play these games, but I realized that you're getting only 5 to 8 extra frames when it's overclocked. Now this laptop has an app called Predator Sense, and that's where you can control the overclocking features of this laptop as well as the lighting on the keyboard. And what's cool about this app is that there is a companion app for the phone that allows you to remotely control the settings for this laptop. Now being as this is a very powerful gaming laptop, we thought we want to run this through some rendering work. So we rendered out a 35-minute video that consists of animation and some cuts, and while it's overclocked, it took about 15 minutes to render that file, and when it's not overclocked, it took close to 20 minutes. The Helios 700 hides another trick. Now, if you remember, Acer released the Predator Gallia 500. Now, these were gaming headphones that had a 3D sound feature which redirects the sound based on your head's orientation. So the laptop has a very similar feature, but it works on any generic headphones. What it does is it uses the webcam on the laptop to track your head, and that basically orientates the sound of your generic headphones based on your head movements. Now obviously it's not as good as the Gallia 500. Nevertheless, it is impressive that they got this technology to work on any generic headphone. Sadly, you need wired headphones. Now, being a desktop replacement, you shouldn't expect this laptop to give you awesome battery life. I mean, after all, it has an i9 processor with a RTX 2080. So on normal usage, I'm getting about 1 hour and 15 minutes of use, and while gaming, I'm getting barely 45 minutes. The laptop is obviously meant to be connected to the charger. I mean, it's a desktop replacement, and the fact that you can't overclock this laptop if it's not plugged in. But sadly, you're gonna have to carry this all around. Alright, so what do I think about the Helios 700? Now, aside from its weight and its price tag of 18,000 ringgit, I think that this is a very decent laptop, especially for gaming or for work. But what we went ahead and did is we actually contacted a local computer parts seller and asked them to replicate a desktop computer using these specs. And they told us we'll be spending roughly around 15,000 ringgit. So here's a question I want to pass on to you. Do you think it's worth paying that extra 3,000 ringgit for the Helios 700? Because after all, it's a laptop, so when you take it out of the box, it's immediately going to work and there's not going to be any issues. And plus, Acer is very generous with the warranty on this device because aside from damage warranty, they're also giving you an anti-theft protection. That means if this laptop is stolen within the warranty period, they will replace it for free. So that's something for you to think about. And once you're done thinking about it, why don't you leave your answers in the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe if you're not, and hit that notification bell button to get updated with our latest video. And with that guys, I will see you in the next video.